Dr. Alex Martinez knew he was going to die. The alien planet's red sky burned above him as he ran through the broken stone ruins. His breathing was heavy and his legs felt like they were on fire. Behind him, he could hear the sounds of battle getting closer. Alex was not a soldier. He was a language expert who studied how aliens talked to each other. The human ship New Horizons had brought him to this planet to watch a war between two alien races. They were supposed to be safe. They were supposed to just observe and take notes. That plan had gone very wrong. The Vorthak Empire had attacked their landing party without warning. These aliens looked like giant lizards with too many teeth, and they did not like humans very much. Alex had gotten separated from his team when the shooting started. Now he was alone and lost in ancient ruins that belonged to the other alien race, the Cathara. Alex stopped running and pressed his back against a tall stone wall. His heart was beating so fast he thought it might explode. He tried to use his radio to call for help, but all he heard was static noise. The ruins were blocking the signal somehow. The stones around him were covered in strange writing that glowed with a soft blue light. Alex had studied Cathara language for months, but seeing their real writing up close was different. It was beautiful and scary at the same time. The letters seemed to move and dance when he looked at them. A sound made him freeze. Footsteps were coming closer. They were light and quick, not the heavy stomping of Vorthak soldiers. Alex knew what that meant. A Cathara warrior had found him. The Cathara were not as mean as the Vorthak, but they were still dangerous. They had been fighting this war for many years, and they did not trust strangers. To them, Alex would look like another enemy to kill. A shadow moved across the wall near Alex's head. He held his breath and tried to make himself smaller. Maybe if he stayed very still, the warrior would walk past him. Maybe he would live for a few more minutes. The shadow stopped moving. Alex could feel someone watching him. "Come out, small creature," a voice said in Cathara language. The voice was female and sounded like music, but there was danger in it too. "I know you are there. Do not make me drag you out." Alex closed his eyes. There was no point in hiding anymore. He stepped away from the wall with his hands up high to show he had no weapons. The Cathara warrior stood 10 feet away from him. She was tall and thin with skin that looked like blue crystal. She had 4 arms and each one held a glowing sword that could cut through metal like paper. Her eyes were large and silver, and they stared at Alex like he was some kind of strange bug. Alex had seen pictures of Cathara before, but meeting one in person was different. She moved like a dancer even while holding weapons. There was something graceful about her that made Alex forget how scared he was for just a moment. "You are not Vorthak," she said, tilting her head to one side. "What are you?" "Human," Alex said in basic Cathara language. His voice shook a little. "I am human. We are neutral. We do not fight in your war." The warrior's eyes got smaller. "Neutral," she repeated like the word tasted bad. "There is no neutral in war. You are either with us or against us." She raised one of her swords. "Your people came with ships and weapons. You chose a side." Alex knew he had to think fast. This warrior was going to kill him unless he could change her mind somehow. But how do you talk to someone who has been fighting a war for so long that they forgot how to trust? Then Alex remembered something from his studies. Cathara names were not just words. They were special sounds that meant something deep and personal. Each Cathara had a secret name that only their family knew. It was like a song that belonged to only them. Alex had spent months listening to captured Cathara radio messages. He had learned to hear things in their language that even other Cathara missed sometimes. Humans were good at understanding feelings and voices. It was something their brains could do that other aliens could not. Looking at this warrior, Alex could see sadness behind her anger. He could hear pain in her voice when she spoke. And somehow in that moment he knew her real name. Not the warrior name she used in battle, but the name her mother had sung to her when she was born. "Belthareshki," Alex said softly. The effect was immediate and shocking. All 4 of the warrior's swords fell from her hands and clattered on the stone ground. Her silver eyes went wide with surprise and something that looked like fear. She took a step backward like Alex had hit her. "How do you know that name?" she whispered. Her voice was different now. Not the voice of a warrior, but the voice of someone who was confused and scared. "No one knows that name. No one." Alex could see that he had done something important, but he was not sure what. The warrior was staring at him like he was a ghost or a god. Her hands were shaking. "I listen," Alex said simply. "I hear more than just words when people talk. Your real name is in your voice even when you do not say it." The warrior sat down hard on a piece of broken stone. She put her face in her hands. Impossible, she said. Only my family knew that name. They are all dead now. The Vorthak killed them 3 years ago. Alex felt sorry for her. He could hear the pain in her voice getting stronger. This warrior had lost everyone she loved, and now she spent her days fighting to make sure no one else would have to feel that pain. I am sorry for your loss, Alex said. He sat down too, staying far enough away that she would not feel threatened. War takes too much from everyone. The warrior looked up at him. There were tears in her silver eyes. You spoke my birth song name. In my culture, that is sacred. Only family can know it. Only family can say it. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. What are you, human? What kind of creature can hear the songs in our souls? Alex did not know how to answer that question. He was just a language expert who was good at his job. But maybe being human meant something different than he had thought. Maybe humans could do things that other aliens could not. Before he could answer, the sound of explosions echoed through the ruins. The war was getting closer to them. Soon soldiers from both sides would find this place. The warrior stood up and picked up her swords, but instead of pointing them at Alex, she held them in a way that meant she would protect him. My name is Zaraki, she said. That is my warrior name. But you have spoken my true name, and that makes you family now. I will not let harm come to you. Alex stood up too. He was still scared, but now he had an ally. More than that, he had made a connection with someone from a completely different world. Maybe that was what humans were really good at. Maybe they could build bridges between different kinds of people, even when those people were not human at all. Thank you, Zaraki, Alex said. I think we need to get out of here before the fighting reaches us. Zaraki nodded. Follow me. I know these ruins well. We will find your people. She paused and looked at him again. But first you must tell me how you learned to hear our songs. This is something the Council of Stars needs to know. As they started walking through the glowing ruins, Alex wondered what he had gotten himself into. He had come to this planet to study a war. Instead, he had discovered that humans might have a special gift that could change everything. The sound of his real name being spoken by an alien warrior still echoed in his mind. Maybe this was just the beginning of something much bigger than he had ever imagined. Zaraki led Alex through the twisting paths of the ancient ruins. Her forearms moved like water as she guided them around broken walls and fallen stones. Alex tried to keep up, but his human legs were not made for this kind of running. Wait, Alex said, breathing hard. I need to rest for a moment. Zaraki stopped and turned around. Her silver eyes looked worried. We cannot stop for long. The Vorthak will find us soon. But she sat down on a piece of stone anyway. Alex sat down too and wiped sweat from his face. Zaraki, I need to understand something. When I said your real name, why did it affect you so much? Zaraki was quiet for a long time. She looked up at the red sky where smoke was rising from distant battles. In Cathara culture, our birth song names are more than just words. They are pieces of our souls made into sound. When a Cathara baby is born, the family sings together to create a unique melody. That melody becomes the child's true name. Alex listened carefully. This was more complicated than he had thought. The birth song carries all the hopes and dreams the family has for their child. Zaraki continued. It holds their love and their promises. Only blood family can know it. When someone dies, their birth song dies with them unless family members keep singing it. But I am not your family, Alex said. How could I know it? Zaraki looked at him with those strange silver eyes. That is what I do not understand. You are an alien creature from a world far away. You should not be able to hear the songs in our voices. No other species can do this. Even we Cathara must be taught to hear birth songs properly. Alex thought about this. What do you mean, hear the songs in voices? Every time a Cathara speaks, their birth song is hidden underneath their words. It is very quiet, like an echo. Most people cannot hear it at all. Other Cathara can hear it if they listen very carefully, but it takes years of training. Zaraki tilted her head. But you heard mine immediately. You spoke it perfectly, with all the right notes and feelings. How is this possible? Alex rubbed his forehead. He was getting a headache trying to understand all of this. I do not know. I just listen to people when they talk. Sometimes I can hear things that other people miss. Sadness, anger, fear. It is like emotions have their own sounds. Show me, Zaraki said suddenly. What do you mean? There were other Cathara warriors with me today. They died in the battle with the Vorthak. Tell me their names. Alex felt nervous. I do not know their names. I never met them. But you heard them die, did you not? Cathara warriors always sing their birth songs when they know death is coming. It is our way of saying goodbye to the world. Zaraki's voice got softer. If you can truly hear our soul songs, you will know their names. Alex closed his eyes and tried to remember the sounds of battle. There had been so much noise. Explosions, weapons firing, shouting in different languages. But underneath all of that, he had heard something else. Something that sounded like singing, but sadder than any song he had ever heard. The memory came back to him clearly now. 3 voices singing different melodies as they faded away forever. Kethilaramithon, Alex said quietly. The name felt heavy in his mouth, full of grief and lost hope. Zaraki gasped. Jolavasha Ekrin, Alex continued. This name sounded angry and defiant, like someone who refused to give up even in death. Tears started running down Zaraki's blue crystal face. Mortella Vishara. The last name was the saddest of all. It sounded like a mother singing a lullaby to a child who would never wake up. Zaraki put her face in her hands and cried. Her whole body shook with sadness. Alex wanted to comfort her somehow, but he did not know if touching her would be okay in Cathara culture. Those were their true names, Zaraki whispered through her tears. Keth was my squad leader. She had been fighting for 20 years. Joel was young and brave and always made jokes to keep our spirits up. Moore had 3 children back home. She looked up at Alex with wonder and fear in her eyes. How can you carry their songs when they are dead? How can you remember their souls? Alex did not know what to say. He was just a human who was good at languages, but maybe that meant something different than he had thought. I think, Alex said slowly, that humans hear things differently than other species. When someone talks, we do not just hear the words. We hear their feelings too. We hear who they really are inside. Zaraki wiped her eyes. This is impossible. If humans could really do this, the whole galaxy would know about it. Maybe nobody ever tested it before, Alex said. Maybe humans never spent enough time with other species to discover this ability. The sound of voices echoed through the ruins. They were getting closer. Zaraki jumped to her feet and picked up her swords. Vorthak patrol, she said. We must move now. Alex stood up, but his legs felt shaky. Wait. If what I can do is so special, maybe we should try to contact my people. Maybe this could help end the war somehow. Zaraki stared at him. End the war? This conflict has been going on for 50 years. Millions have died. How could one human's strange ability change anything? I do not know, Alex admitted. But if I can hear the truth in people's voices, maybe I can help your leaders understand each other. Maybe the war started because of a misunderstanding. Wars do not start because of misunderstandings, Zaraki said bitterly. They start because people want things that belong to other people. But what if that is not true? Alex asked. What if both sides are fighting for the wrong reasons? The voices were getting closer now. Zaraki grabbed Alex's arm with one of her hands. We can discuss this later. Right now we need to survive. They started running again through the maze of ancient stones. Alex's human eyes had trouble seeing in the dim light, but Zaraki seemed to know exactly where she was going. She led him through narrow passages and hidden doorways that looked like they had been built thousands of years ago. These ruins are older than the war, Zaraki explained as they ran. They belong to the first builders, a race that died out long before my people came to this world. Some say they built these places as temples. Others think they were schools for teaching wisdom. Alex looked around at the glowing writing on the walls. Even running for his life, he could not help being fascinated by the ancient language. Can you read what it says? Some of it. The first builders wrote about harmony between different kinds of life. They believed that all thinking creatures were connected by invisible songs that most people could not hear. Zaraki glanced back at Alex as they ran. Perhaps they would have understood your gift better than we do. They reached a large open area with a broken fountain in the center. The fountain was dry now, but Alex could see that it had once been beautiful. Carved animals from many different worlds danced around its edges. We can rest here for a moment, Zaraki said. This place is sacred. Even Vorthak soldiers will not enter it easily. Alex sat down on the edge of the fountain and tried to catch his breath. Zaraki, can I ask you something? What? What is your birth song about? What did your family hope for when they sang it? Zaraki sat down across from him. Her expression grew soft and sad. My birth song speaks of dancing between moons under starlight. My family hoped I would become a teacher or an artist. They wanted me to bring beauty into the world. She looked down at her weapons. Instead, I became a warrior who brings death. You saved my life, Alex said. That brought something good into the world. Perhaps. Zaraki was quiet for a moment. When you spoke my name, I remembered who I used to be before the war. I remembered the little girl who loved to dance and sing. I had forgotten her for so long. Alex understood now why hearing her true name had affected Zaraki so deeply. It had reminded her of the person she was meant to be, before war and loss changed her into someone else. Maybe that is what humans can do, Alex said. Maybe we can help people remember who they really are. Zaraki looked at him with something like hope in her silver eyes. If that is true, then your gift is more valuable than any weapon. In a galaxy full of war and hatred, the ability to remind people of their better selves could change everything. The sound of footsteps echoed from the passages around them. The Vorthak patrol had found their trail. Zaraki stood up and got ready to fight. Stay behind me, she told Alex. No matter what happens, do not try to help in the battle. Your gift is too important to risk. Alex wanted to argue, but he knew she was right. He was not a fighter. His only weapon was his ability to hear the truth in people's voices. Maybe that would be enough to make a difference somehow. As Vorthak soldiers entered the sacred space with their weapons ready, Alex wondered if he would live long enough to find out what his strange human ability could really do. 6 Vorthak soldiers entered the sacred space with their weapons pointed at Alex and Zaraki. They looked like giant lizards walking on 2 legs with scales that changed color from green to brown. Their teeth were sharp and their claws could tear through metal. Zaraki raised her 4 swords and got ready to fight. Stay back, human, she whispered to Alex. The lead Vorthak soldier spoke in his own language. Alex had studied Vorthak speech too, but it was much harder to understand than Cathara. It sounded like rocks grinding together with hissing sounds mixed in. Surrender the human, the soldier said in broken Cathara language.
The Empire wants him alive. Why?
Zaraki asked, not lowering her weapons. That is not your concern, Crystal Skin. Give us the human and we will let you die quickly. Alex stepped forward before Zaraki could respond. His heart was beating fast, but he had an idea. Wait, he said in Vorthak language. I want to speak with your commander. The Vorthak soldiers looked surprised to hear their own language from a human. They talked among themselves in quick, harsh sounds. Alex listened carefully, trying to hear beyond just their words. What he heard made him sad. These soldiers were scared and tired, just like Zaraki. They had been fighting for so long that they had almost forgotten why the war started. All they knew was that their leaders told them to kill Cathara, so they killed Cathara. You speak our tongue, human, the lead soldier said. Good. That will make questioning you easier. I speak many tongues, Alex said, and I hear more than just words. I hear the sadness in your voice. You do not want to be here, do you? The soldier's weapon wavered slightly. Do not try your human tricks on me. What tricks? I am only saying what I hear. You miss your home. You miss your family. This war has taken you far from everything you love. One of the other soldiers said something in Vorthak. Alex could hear fear in his voice, but also hope. The soldier was asking if the human could really understand their pain. Silence, the leader shouted. But Alex could hear doubt creeping into his voice too. Zaraki was watching all of this with amazement. She could see that Alex was doing something to the Vorthak soldiers, but she did not understand what. What is your name? Alex asked the leader in Vorthak language. I am Captain Threshkol of the 8th Battle Group. That is your rank and unit, Alex said gently. But what is your real name? The name your egg mother gave you when you hatched? The captain's scaled face changed color from brown to pale green. In Vorthak culture, that meant surprise and fear. How do you know about egg mothers? I study languages and cultures. I know that Vorthak soldiers take war names when they join the army. But underneath those war names, you still carry the names your families gave you. Alex took a small step forward. Your egg mother called you something soft and gentle, did she not? Something that does not sound like war. The captain was shaking now. His weapon pointed toward the ground. Stop talking. Velesh, Alex said quietly. The captain dropped his weapon completely. His soldiers looked at him in shock. Alex had guessed right. Somehow, by listening to the captain's voice, he had heard the loving name hidden underneath all the anger and violence. Velesh means little star in old Vorthak language. Alex continued. Your egg mother looked up at the night sky when you were born and hoped you would shine bright in the darkness. Captain Threshkol sat down heavily on a piece of broken stone. He put his scaled hands over his face. I have not heard that name in 20 years, he whispered. My egg mother died when the Cathara burned our colony on Velthara Prime. Zaraki made a shocked sound. We never burned any colonies. The Vorthak attacked our settlements first. Lies, one of the other soldiers shouted. Your people struck without warning. They killed thousands of civilians. That is not true, Zaraki said, but her voice was uncertain now. Alex looked back and forth between the two groups. Both sides believed the other had started the war by attacking innocent people. Both sides were wrong, but they were also right. Someone had attacked civilians, but maybe it was not who they thought. Captain Valesh, Alex said carefully, when your colony was attacked, did you actually see Cathara ships? The captain looked up with red-rimmed eyes. No, I was just a child. But the survivors said it was Cathara weapons that burned our homes. Zaraki, Alex said, turning to the Cathara warrior. When your people's settlements were attacked, did you see the attackers with your own eyes? I was not there, Zaraki admitted. But my squad leader told me it was Vorthak ships that killed my family. Alex felt a cold feeling in his stomach. What if neither of your people attacked the other? What if someone else started this war and made it look like you were attacking each other? The Vorthak soldiers and Zaraki all stared at Alex. The idea was too big and terrible to understand at first. Impossible, Captain Valesh said. Who would do such a thing? I do not know, Alex said. But I can hear truth and lies in people's voices. Both of you are telling the truth about what you believe. But someone has been lying to both your peoples for 50 years. Zaraki lowered her swords. If this is true, then millions have died for nothing. Not for nothing, Alex said sadly. They died to make someone else rich and powerful. Wars always make someone rich. Before anyone could respond, the sound of aircraft filled the sky above them. 3 ships came down to land near the ruins. One was human, one was Cathara, and one was Vorthak. My people have found us, Alex said, feeling relieved. Lieutenant Commander Kate Sullivan jumped out of the human ship with a squad of Marines. She looked very worried when she saw Alex surrounded by alien soldiers. Dr. Martinez, step away from the hostiles, she ordered. Wait, Alex said, holding up his hands. They are not hostile. We need to talk. A Cathara officer emerged from the second ship. She was older than Zaraki and had more scars. Warrior Zaraki, why have you not killed these enemies? Commander Thakara, Zaraki said with respect. The human has made a discovery. He can hear our birth songs. He spoke the true names of our fallen warriors. Commander Thakara's silver eyes went wide. Impossible. From the Vorthak ship came a general with gold scales and many battle decorations. Captain Threshkull, why are you not fighting? Captain Valesh looked up at his superior. General Krelthok, sir. The human knows things. He spoke my egg name. He says someone else started our war. General Krelthox laughed, but it sounded forced. Nonsense. Everyone knows the crystal skins attacked first. Alex listened to the general's voice carefully. Something was wrong. The general was lying, but it was a strange kind of lie. He believed what he was saying, but underneath that belief was something else. Fear, guilt, knowledge of some terrible secret. General Krelthox, Alex said loudly, what really happened 50 years ago? The general's gold scales turned pale. I do not have to answer to a human. You were there, were you not? You were young then, but you were there when the first attack happened. Alex could hear it all in the general's voice now. You know who really attacked those colonies. Silence. The general roared, but his voice was shaking. Commander Thakara stepped forward. Human, if you can truly hear our soul songs, then prove it. Speak my birth name. Alex looked at the old Cathara commander. Her voice carried the weight of many battles and much loss, but underneath all that pain, he could hear something beautiful, a name that spoke of wisdom and starlight. Sila Thakara Moon Wisdom, Alex said softly. Commander Thakara stumbled backward. By the stars, she whispered. Only my dead sister knew that name. Lieutenant Commander Sullivan looked completely confused. Alex, what the hell is going on here? I think I can help end this war, Alex said. But I need all 3 commanders to agree to listen. Really listen, not just to words, but to the truth underneath the words. General Krelthox was backing toward his ship. This is madness. I will not participate in this charade. General, Alex called out. What is your real name? Not your war name, but the name you were born with? The general stopped walking. For a moment his scales flashed bright red, which meant terror in Vorthak body language. Krelvashthox, Alex said, reading the fear and pain in the general's posture. The one who mourns lost children. General Krelthox fell to his knees. How can you know that name? I buried it the day my children died in the first attack. Alex walked slowly toward the general. Your children died in that first attack 50 years ago. But it was not Cathara who killed them, was it? You know who really did it. You have always known. The general looked up with tears streaming down his scaled face. I cannot say. They will kill me if I tell the truth. Who will kill you? Commander Thakara asked. The ones who profit from our war, the general whispered. The ones who sell weapons to both sides and grow rich while our children die. Alex felt all the pieces falling into place. The weapons dealers. They started this war by attacking both sides and making it look like you were attacking each other. 50 years, Zaraki said in horror. 50 years of war based on a lie. Lieutenant Commander Sullivan stepped forward. If this is true, then we need to get this information to the highest levels of both governments immediately. Alex nodded. But first we need to make sure everyone understands the truth. No more lies. No more secrets. It is time for the real voices to be heard. 2 days later, Alex found himself in the most important meeting of his life. The ancient Temple of Echoes had been chosen as neutral ground for peace talks between the Cathara and Vorthak governments. The temple was thousands of years old, built by the first builders who had believed in harmony between all thinking creatures. Alex sat at a round table with leaders from both alien races. Commander Thakara represented the Cathara coalition. General Krelthok sat across from her, looking older and more tired than he had in the ruins. Lieutenant Commander Sullivan was there for the humans, along with Captain Roy Bennett from the New Horizons, Dr. Lisa Chen, the ship's doctor who specialized in alien psychology, sat next to Alex. She had been studying his abilities since the rescue. Are you ready for this? She whispered. Alex nodded, but his hands were shaking. The weight of what they were trying to do felt enormous. 2 civilizations had been fighting for 50 years based on lies. Millions had died. Could one human really help fix something that broken? Before we begin, Commander Thakara said, I want to understand what the human claims he can do. You say he can hear our birth songs? More than that, General Krelthok said quietly. He can hear truth and lies. He can hear the pain we carry. When he spoke my true name, I remembered who I was before the war changed me. Alex cleared his throat. I do not completely understand it myself. But when people talk, I hear more than just words. I hear emotions, memories, intentions. It is like every voice carries its own music and I can hear the different notes. Demonstrate, Commander Thakara said. Alex looked at her carefully. The old Cathara commander had lived through the entire war. Her voice carried layers of sadness and anger, but underneath it all he could hear something else. You do not want to be here, Alex said. You agreed to these talks because you hope they will work, but you do not believe they will. You have seen too many attempts at peace fail. He paused, listening more carefully. But there is something else. You are sick. Your body is dying, and you want to end this war before you die so that your death will have meaning. Commander Thekara's silver eyes went wide. I have told no one about my illness. How could you know? I can hear it in your voice. There is a tiredness there that goes deeper than just being old. Alex felt sad for her. You are afraid that if you die, no one else will have the courage to make peace. This is impossible, one of the Cathara advisors said. He must be using some kind of technology, Dr. Chen spoke up. We have tested Dr. Martinez extensively. He has no implants, no devices, no artificial enhancements. This appears to be a natural human ability that we never knew we had. General Krelthox leaned forward. If humans can truly hear our deepest thoughts and feelings, then perhaps they can help us understand each other better than we understand ourselves. That is what I hope, Alex said. But first, we need to talk about what really started this war. General, you said in the ruins that you knew the truth. Will you tell us now? The general's scale shifted from gold to pale yellow, which meant fear and shame. If I speak, they will try to kill me. Who? Captain Bennett asked. The Hegemony Corporation, General Krelthox said in a voice barely above a whisper. They are a group of arms dealers from many different species. They make money by selling weapons to both sides of conflicts. Commander Thekara made a hissing sound of anger. We know of Hegemony. They have sold us many ships and weapons over the years. And they have sold us weapons too, the general said. But 50 years ago, they did more than just sell. They started the war. Alex listened to the general's voice as he spoke. Every word was true, but there was still something the general was not saying. "Tell us everything," Alex said gently. "What exactly did they do?" General Krelthox put his head in his hands. "I was a young officer then, stationed at a border outpost. Hegemony agents came to me with an offer. They said they had intelligence that the Cathara were planning to attack Vorthak colonies. They offered to help us strike first, but we never planned such attacks," Commander Thakara said. "I know that now," the general said. "But then I was young and I believed them. They gave us coordinates for Cathara settlements and said we should hit them before they could hit us." Alex could hear the guilt eating away at the general's soul. "But you did not attack Cathara settlements, did you?" The general looked up with tears in his red eyes. "No. The coordinates they gave us were for Vorthak colonies that Hegemony wanted destroyed. They used our own weapons to attack our own people, then told us it was Cathara who did it." The room went silent. The truth was worse than anyone had imagined. "They did the same thing to us," Commander Thakara said slowly. "Young Cathara officers were told that Vorthak were planning attacks. They were given coordinates that they thought were Vorthak military bases. But they were Cathara civilian settlements," Alex said, understanding the full scope of the betrayal. "Yes," the commander whispered. "Hegemony used our own forces to attack our own people, then blamed the other side. Both species thought they were being attacked by their enemies, so both species attacked back." Dr. Chen was taking notes furiously. "This is the most elaborate false flag operation in galactic history. They manipulated two entire civilizations into destroying each other. And they got rich selling weapons to both sides for 50 years, Captain Bennett said with disgust. Alex looked around the table. Everyone was shocked and angry, but he could hear something else in their voices. Relief. After 50 years of war, they finally knew the truth. "The question now," Alex said, "is what do we do about it?" "We expose them," Commander Thakara said immediately. "We tell both our governments what really happened. And then?" General Krelthox asked. "Hegemony is powerful. They have allies in many governments. They will deny everything and say we are making up stories to cover our own failures." Alex listened to the conversation, but his attention was drawn to something else. Outside the temple, he could hear aircraft approaching. A lot of them. "Someone is coming," he said, interrupting the discussion. Captain Bennett activated his communicator. "Bennett to New Horizons. Are you tracking incoming aircraft?" "Sir, we have multiple ships approaching the temple. They are not broadcasting identification signals." Alex felt a chill of fear. "They found us. Who found us?" Dr. Chen asked. "Hegemony," General Krelthox said, his scales turning bright red with terror. "They must have spies in both governments. They know we are talking." The sound of the aircraft grew louder. Through the temple's ancient windows, Alex could see dark ships circling overhead like predators. Commander Thakara stood up and activated her own communicator. "All Cathara forces, we are under attack. Protect the peace talks at all costs." General Krelthox did the same. "Vorthak ships defend the temple. Do not let them stop these negotiations." Captain Bennett was coordinating with the human ships. "All vessels, we have hostile forces moving in on our position. Form a defensive perimeter." Alex watched as ships from 3 different species moved to protect the peace talks. Cathara fighters with their graceful, crystal-like designs. Vorthak warships that looked like flying fortresses. Human vessels that were smaller but fast and clever. "This is it," Alex said. "Hegemony cannot let the truth come out. They will try to destroy all of us to keep their secret." Dr. Chen grabbed Alex's arm. "We need to get you to safety. Your ability is too important to risk." "No," Alex said firmly. "This started because people were manipulated into not understanding each other. It will only end when people start listening to the truth." The first explosions shook the temple. Ancient stones that had stood for thousands of years began to crack and fall. The peace talks that could end a 50-year war were under attack by the very people who had started it. Alex looked around at the alien leaders who had become his allies. "Whatever happens, we cannot let them silence the truth. Too many people have died already." Zaraki burst into the temple with her 4 swords ready. "The enemy has landed ground forces. They are trying to surround the temple." "How many?" Commander Thakara asked. 50 soldiers, maybe more. They have heavy weapons and armor. They want to make sure no one survives to tell what really happened here." Alex stood up from the table. He was scared, but he also felt something else. determination. For the first time in his life, he was exactly where he needed to be, doing exactly what he was meant to do. Then we make sure the truth gets out, he said, no matter what it costs. Outside, the battle for the truth began. 6 months after the battle at the Temple of Echoes, Alex stood on the observation deck of Unity Station, the first joint Cathara-Vorthak human research facility ever built. Through the wide windows, he could see ships from all 3 species working together to build new settlements on the planet below. The battle at the temple had been fierce but short. Hegemony Corporation's mercenaries had been defeated by the combined forces of former enemies, fighting side by side. More importantly, the truth about the war's origins had been broadcast across the galaxy during the fighting. Within days, both Cathara and Vorthak governments had officially ended the 50-year conflict. Dr. Martinez, a familiar voice said behind him. Alex turned to see Zaraki approaching. She looked different now. Instead of weapons, she carried data tablets and wore the blue robes of a Cathara diplomat. The warrior had become an ambassador, just as her birth song had originally hoped. Ambassador Velthara Eshki, Alex said, using her true name with a smile. How did the morning sessions go? Very well, Zaraki said, sitting down in a chair next to him. The Joint Commission approved funding for 12 new agricultural colonies. Former Vorthak and Cathara soldiers will work together to grow food for both species. Alex felt happy hearing this news. What about the war crimes trials? 43 hegemony executives have been arrested so far. General Krelthox's testimony was crucial in identifying the key conspirators. Zaraki paused. The general is doing well, by the way. He has started a school for war orphans from both species. He says teaching children helps him remember the person he was before the war. Alex nodded. He had visited the general's school several times. It was amazing to see Vorthak and Cathara children playing together, learning each other's languages and songs. Dr. Lisa Chen entered the observation lounge with a cup of coffee and a stack of research papers. Alex, I have the latest results from the linguistic empathy study. What did you find? Alex asked. Incredible things, Dr. Chen said, sitting down with them. We have tested over 200 humans now. About 30% show some level of empathic hearing ability. It is not as strong as yours, but it is definitely there. 30%? Zaraki said with surprise. That means millions of humans have this gift. We think it is an evolutionary trait that developed because humans lived in complex social groups, Dr. Chen explained. They needed to understand not just what people said, but what they really meant. Over thousands of years, this became a natural ability. Alex thought about this. So we are not just good at learning languages. We are good at understanding the emotions and intentions behind language. Exactly. And the more time humans spend with other species, the better they get at it. Some of our test subjects who have been working with Cathara and Vorthak for the past 6 months are starting to hear birth songs and egg names naturally. Zaraki leaned forward with interest. This could change everything. If humans can teach other species to communicate with empathy instead of just words, we could prevent future wars. Alex looked out at the ships working together in space. Is that what we are doing here? Teaching people to really listen to each other? That is exactly what we are doing, a new voice said. They turned to see Commander Thakara entering the lounge. The old Cathara looked much healthier than she had 6 months ago. The medicine humans had developed for her illness was working well. Commander, Alex said, standing up respectfully. How are you feeling? Better every day, she said with what might have been a smile. Cathara facial expressions were still hard for Alex to read sometimes. The doctors say I may live for many more years. Long enough to see the galaxy learn what you have taught us. What have I taught you? Alex asked. That every voice carries truth, but you have to know how to listen for it. That understanding someone's real name, the name of their soul, is the first step toward understanding who they really are. Commander Thakara sat down with them. We have received requests from 17 different species to establish empathic communication programs. The Zethkari crystal beings want to learn how to hear emotions in our voices. The collective wants to understand individual identity better. Even the time-sensitive Aloth are interested in learning human listening techniques. Alex felt overwhelmed by the scope of what was happening. I was just trying to survive when I spoke Zaraki's name in those ruins. I never imagined it would lead to all this. That is the remarkable thing about humans, Zaraki said. You do not seem to understand how special your gifts are. You think everyone can hear souls and voices, so you just naturally try to connect with people. Dr. Chen looked up from her papers. We have been studying the psychological effects of empathic communication. Species that learn to really listen to each other show dramatic decreases in conflict and increases in cooperation. It is like teaching people to hear each other's humanity, or alienity, I suppose. The term we prefer is personhood, Commander Thakara said. Every thinking being has personhood, regardless of what species they belong to. What humans do is help us recognize the personhood in others. Captain Roy Bennett's voice came over the station's communication system. Dr. Martinez, please report to the main conference room. We have visitors. Alex looked at his friends with curiosity. I was not expecting anyone today. Neither was I, Zaraki said. But these days, many people want to meet the human who can hear soul songs. They walked together through the station's corridors. Alex was still amazed by what they had built here. Cathara crystal architecture flowed seamlessly into Vorthak stone construction, with human metal frameworks holding it all together. It was a perfect symbol of 3 different ways of building, becoming one stronger whole. The conference room was full of beings Alex had never seen before. There were tall, thin creatures made of what looked like living crystal, floating spheres of light that pulsed with different colors, even stranger forms that defied easy description. Captain Bennett stood at the head of the table. Dr. Martinez, I would like you to meet representatives from the Galactic Council. They have traveled here specifically to speak with you. A being made of silver crystal spoke in a voice that sounded like wind chimes. Dr. Martinez, I am Court Singer of Morning Light of the Zethkari. We have heard of your gift for hearing the truth in voices. Our people have been isolated for centuries because no one else can understand our light speech. We hope you might help us communicate with the galaxy again. One of the floating spheres pulsed with warm yellow light. I am Node 779 of the Collective. We are a hive mind, but we have trouble understanding species that think as individuals. Your empathic abilities might help us bridge that gap. A third being that looked like a constantly shifting cloud of stardust spoke in a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. I am past, present, future echo of the Aloth. We experience time differently than linear species, but we have heard that humans can understand intentions and emotions that exist outside of normal time flow. Alex looked around the room at all these different forms of life. Each one was completely alien, but when he listened carefully, he could hear the same thing in all their voices. Loneliness. They had been isolated from the rest of the galaxy because no one understood how they communicated. I do not know if I can help all of you, Alex said honestly, but I am willing to try. Humans seem to be good at learning new ways to listen. That is all we ask, Court Singer said. A chance to be heard. Over the next several hours, Alex worked with each species to understand their communication methods. The Zethkari spoke through patterns of light that carried emotional meaning. The Collective communicated through shared thoughts that required understanding group consciousness. The Aloth spoke in temporal layers that included past and future contexts simultaneously. It was exhausting work, but Alex found that his human brain could adapt to each new form of communication. More importantly, he could teach others how to listen for the emotional truth underneath even the strangest forms of expression. As the day ended, Alex stood once again on the observation deck. This time, he was not alone. Zaraki was there, along with Dr. Chen, Commander Thakara, and several of the new alien visitors. They watched as ships from dozens of different species approached Unity Station. Word is spreading quickly, Dr. Chen observed. Every week, more species arrive asking for help with communication. It is the beginning of something new, Commander Thakara said. For the first time in galactic history, different species are learning to truly understand each other. Alex thought about everything that had happened since that day in the ruins when he had spoken Zaraki's true name. One moment of connection had somehow grown into a galaxy-wide movement toward understanding. Zaraki, he said, do you think this is what the first builders were trying to teach? That all thinking beings are connected by invisible songs? Zaraki smiled, an expression she had learned from watching humans. I think they would be proud to see what their temple helped accomplish. You have proven that their beliefs were true. We are all connected, but we needed humans to teach us how to hear the connections. A young Cathara child ran up to them, followed by a Vorthak child and a human child. They were all wearing translation devices, but Alex could hear that they barely needed them. The children had